Welcome to Inside Africa, One Africa Radio. And of course, today we are honored to have amongst us Dr. Uzwelezwe Imboni Radebe. And he is our first guest, as today is our first edition of this podcast. And we are truly, truly blessed to have you here, Dr. Radebe. Thank you for joining us today. Can you please greet our viewers? And of course, while you're doing it, share with them how this journey started and where it began. You know, just shortly, give them the insight of where it all began.
Yeah, no, morning, and to yourself and to your viewers as well. Congratulations on your first episode. I think it's befitting to have this subject on your first episode because these are very important matters in Africa. Yeah, Imboni, Dr. Uzwelezwe Radebe. So my journey, my spiritual journey, in English they call it calling.
Yes.
In our language, Sintu, we call it Ingulo, which is the most proper word, because calling Ingulo is the most proper word. According to what has transpired, I was 4 months old. And the woman who was curing me or assisting me, Gengulo Yam, when it first manifested, she's still alive. She's on record, she's recorded. When I was 4 months old, and then she assisted me to assist that Ingulo may subside a bit. And then when I was about age 5 to 6, that I know myself. Then it came back again. I started seeing visions at home. At school, I began, when the teacher was busy on the drawing board, or on the blackboard, I was seeing her issues, her life, her issues and other matters on the drawing board, until I reached the stage going to school where I could not speak anymore. My mouth was closed. So, I went to a multiracial school, by the way. Some people, they get amazed. Why do I speak English?
Yeah.
Went to multiracial school. So then they sent me to a psychiatrist. They told my mother, no, there's a problem with him. I went to this psychiatrist who was a white woman. When we sat there, at that time I could not speak. She spoke and spoke and spoke. When I looked at her, it was the same thing. She was trying to help me, but I was seeing her and seeing her issues as well. Yeah, and then...
So basically what you were seeing are visions.
Yeah, visions.
Of other people already.
And her problems.
And her problems
yeah,
as
then
well.
Mind you, I'm young, and I don't know these things. I grew up in the township. Don't know these issues. We grew up in a religious church. So then, for me, I did not pay attention to her, because I was seeing her matters, that she had serious problems. Yeah, and then from there, we went home, and then while I could not speak, and then I could not walk, my sister had to carry me to the toilet. It's township. It's those township houses where the toilet was outside. So she had to carry me outside and carry me inside. Fast forwarding, a woman from the street. Those women who stay inside the house, nobody visits them. A very old woman, she came to my house at the gate. She made noise. My mother went and opened. My mother was surprised. This woman did not visit people. She entered inside, told my mother that your child is sick, told her what's happening. And my mother was very discreet. My issue was not yet out in the township. So my mother was a bit surprised. How did she know? That's how she let her in. She told her to bring what you call a camphor cream. No, not cream. A camphor, there was that camphor that looked like a stone. It was a white one. It's a camphor block.
Okay.
They called it camphor block.
Yeah, maybe I was not born yet.
It was a camphor block, and asked her to buy a white candle. Brought it, she lit the white candle, it was a camphor block, she put it on my head here. Began to speak. I was young, I did not even know what she was doing, so I was paying attention. She was praying or doing whatever. And then after that, immediately before she left, I was speaking and I was walking. I was been to psychiatrists, the other doctors came, they did not know what was wrong with me. Then I began speaking. Fast forward that, life went on until I was a teenager. And I was taken by a church of white people, took me away. You'll notice everywhere I speak, I'll just say foreign church, even in my books. And people ask me why, is it a secret? It's not, it's known by everybody. I don't want to give glory to them. They did not make me. What I have and what I am, it never came from there. That's why I always choose not to give spotlight to.
Yes.
Then I preached then, but what was strange there was a young person. When I was preaching, I did not really practice or do what was being written in the Bible.
From the Bible, yes.
Or being told. There was a voice telling me what to do, how to heal people. And people were healed. I was sent to dying branches.
Yes.
I was very young. Them. When I arrived, give me 2 weeks. It's packed to people outside.
Yes.
Until I was even holding bigger churches that were normally held by experienced older pastors, yes. If you know what I'm saying. As a young child. Yet I did not know much, the scriptures by my head. Up to a point where even I used to tell them my dreams and visions. And they would allow because of the results. Till such a time
so they were actually able to identify power that you were in possession of, and maybe perhaps as smart as they were able to even utilize that power that you had.
100% sure, and that is why even I left on my own. There's no record of I did that and that,
yes.
Etc. So yeah, it's important to say that in that journey, because one thinks that I was once a Christian,
yes,
woke up in the morning, and then decided to be something else, which is not true. I've always been what I am, practiced, but before it was a bit of a mixture.
Yeah.
Until such a time where now, with my matured state, I began to leave that other part. But it's not that I practiced one thing and then changed. It is my core issue was African spirituality.
Let's go into the title Imboni. It might sound like a new title to some of us who do not know more about African spirituality, and hence we would appreciate it if perhaps you can just tell us who is Imboni, what is an Imboni, and in one generation how many Imbonis can we have? Yeah,
it's very good. Imboni, I want to start here. If you Google, it's going to tell you that Imboni amateksi, because Imboni is kind of, according to dictionary explanation, kind of somebody who is in charge of big things. But remember that dictionaries as well are influenced by people, and mostly not us. They put what they want to put. Imboni is not a new title. It has always been there. And I have a research institution, by the way, African Hidden Voices.
Okay.
And they've researched that title. It's called in different languages. I think in Kenya it's called the Koriri.
All right.
It's different languages. So it's indigenous. It's not new. Imboni is a spiritual guide. If you want to shorten it, it's just a spiritual guide. It's somebody who is spiritually gifted, not to guide an individual, but to guide a nation. So if you want your viewers to have more sense of this, Imboni, they were the people who were working together with our kings and queens, who used to then be the mediator between the spiritual dimension and the physical dimension. So Imboni is a spiritual guide.
Yes. So I listened to some of your interviews and some of your sermons, and you always try to explain the fact that much as you are an Imboni and is compared to being a prophet, and in fact, at some point, a lot of people call you a prophet, and you are always trying to, explain it in detail that I am not actually a prophet. I am an Imboni. But when I also compare it to the Bible. I mean, in the Bible, your explanation right now, it makes me, it reminds me of your prophet Isaiah or Jeremiah, who were guiding the kings. But then I remember that the story as it is told, this very nation was coming out of Africa. So perhaps there is a relation in what their Imboni then was being called and what we have as an Imboni now. Is there a particular relation in the story they are telling and what an Imboni is?
How to approach that? It's simple. We have to go to the issue that when did religion begin?
Yes.
When did African indigenous spirituality, or in our language, ezomoya zagwantu, begin? We have to start there. So religions are less than about 2,000 years. African indigenous spirituality is as old as humans. So who began first? So religions are written by humans based on your spiritual experiences in the past. So Imboni did not appear in about 2,000 years ago, but prophets did. So when those religions were written, they were not written out of the sky. They were written on stories and events that took place. So, and you must remember that religions were began by nations. Israel is the mother of your Abrahamic religions. That is your Christianity, Judaism, and your Muslim. How old are Israelites? Because you have to go back in time and look at them. So Israel is not that old.
Yeah, it's probably, if it's older than 2,000, it's 4,000 years.
Yes, so then when they began to build the nation Israel, remember in the past, there were certain things that you had to have, components,
Yes.
to be a nation. And religion in those days began one of them. They need to have their own religion or belief systems, etc., etc. So when they built those nations, they then built their religions. Israel, they built Judaism, not Christianity.
Yes.
Christianity comes after, and it breaks from Judaism.
Yes.
So then, that's where...
So Christianity is 2,000 years old,
old,
2,000 years plus.
Yeah, it's younger than it's a breakaway of Judaism. It's a fact. So then they start creating their own religion in order for them to be then independent. And I think this is very interesting. Maybe one day we'll have to zoom in this topic.
Yes.
Because again, all these breakaway of issues,
Yes.
they are all breakaways of being independent of Africa.
Yes.
And that's how everything else was built now. Unfortunately, leaving Africa to be a beggar of everything else, from everything that was taken from them. So that's why now when they build their own religion, they could not say Mboni.
Yes.
They had to come up with their own
new term,
so that they can then claim that this is authentic. You see, so prophet then was being built by them.
Yes.
That's why it's very similar, and that's why I was called a prophet, but I began to break away from that because the term prophet and a prophet is not indigenous to Africa.
To Africa, yes.
It's something that belongs to others. What's indigenous to us is import.
So I want us to also go deep into the economical factor of it while also bringing in the colonialism factor, which, I mean, we are aware that religion on its own in Africa was brought about by colonialists. And how it affected us as Africans, the growth, the economy, and our livelihoods as well. While we are trying to conscientize ourselves and, you know, be aware of who we really are and the spirituality that we should really, you know, I don't know if the right term would be serve or praise or pray, and which one is the right one that will liberate us completely from this colonialism effect that left us a broke nation and a broken nation on top of that, while colonialism and using religion has taken away what belongs to us. Now, we are trying to conscientize Africa. You in particular are playing a major role and a significant part in doing that. How is it going so far for you? And the challenges that you come across with while you are trying to say, look, we are going on a wrong direction. This is the right direction to follow.
Okay. many components in one.
Yes.
I think we've been flowing very well, and I explained religion, where they began. I think it is fair, especially for, I want to mention something. I want to mention something. Colonization and apartheid has crippled the mind of black people.
Absolutely.
Our people were critical thinkers. If you want to access today, social media has helped us to kind of survey where we are. Go to your comment sections on topics. Many Africans are no longer critical thinkers.
Yes.
They can't follow the topic. They don't understand the point. It's the damage of colonization. We were yes passes. Others thought for us. So that's very, very important to bring context into a subject, because under your comment section, you'll see comments that they have nothing to do, or people don't understand what we are talking about. And others, religious people are people whom they are always feeling being attacked. So when we talk religion, it's something that we must give more depth. So let me start by saying that, okay, let's talk Christianity. We were colonized in the western part by Christianity. In the southern part. In your western part, it was Islam. That's why you go Upper Africa is more Islam. So let's talk southern part. We are South Africans, the southern part, Christianity. When did it come to Africa? It has two entrances. The first one is Ethiopia. According to research, which my institution did, which I was physically involved. It tells us about I think it was the, wrote it down here, 4th century. You have two people, the Framicius and Idaeus, who came from Rome, and they were captured. When they were captured, and then they found favor with the king at that time, the Roman Empire that time, sorry, the empire that time in Ethiopia, whose name is King Ezana. They find favor in him. After they then began to convert him to become a Christian. That's how Christianity begins in Ethiopia. Then from there, every other king began. That's why Christianity will tell you it's the oldest. But oldest does not mean Christianity is it is a religion that was born. It was not born there. This is the story that happened. That's where you find the Black Jesus stories, the painting stories, the old Bible stories, where others think that now it's authentic. No, it began at that point. Then another point after that, it also came through Egypt. I researched about it. We went to Egypt, not as tourists. If you go to Egypt as a tourist, remember that in Egypt, people who are there, they are not Egyptians. They're Arabs. Yes, so when you go there, they'll just give you the history.
So what happened? Where are the Egyptians in Egypt?
No, they are no longer there, remember. Arabs took over. So Egypt are scattered. Some are more in Sudan, going down. So when you go as a tourist there, I see others wanting to defend their religions. They are going there, taking as pictures as tourists, and they are getting information. That will not give you any proper information. We went to do research even in the libraries there, so we know what we are talking about. So in short, I was just trying to give that wisdom, because when you talk, people think you are attacking. And we are speaking not only with spiritual revelation, we are speaking also with research information, facts. So now religion then comes in. Now when religion comes in Africa, religion of course also was used a lot by colonialists. Now religion now is here. Colonialists bring their own systems. Now I'm jumping now, I'm going to economic issue. We had our own systems that were African-based. We had our own economic systems. You'll be surprised if you go to Ethiopia, which by now it stands that humanity began there. You'll be surprised that even notes and coins, it began there. They started coins. So we had our own economic systems.
That was running
fluently. Remember, you know yourself. You know your household. When you copy somebody else, you are doing something you're not knowing.
Absolutely, yes.
We had our own judiciary
so you are left wondering all the time.
All the time. And you rely on the one you copy from.
Absolutely.
So we had our own judiciary systems. You know, the traditional ways. So all of that we lost because of course, colonization, but religion played a very huge role in that. So once we have lost that, what happened now? Once we lose our own systems, we rely on this system that these people bring. You can't master what is not yours. Now you are left with an economic system that you did not invent, that is alien to you. That is why we're always being told, the markets, the rand. And you know, lay people, black people, who make the big chunk of the 60 million South African. When you tell them that the rand is this, the market, people look, they think that there's something in the sky
that determines it.
Because Africans, we don't understand what
is going on.
We did not create the systems. It's controlled somewhere else. You are going to vote for that one. If you vote, the markets will crash. Isn't that a threat? Isn't that a threat?
It's a threat.
So who's controlling everything else? As you are saying, the ones who control the economy, they then control the governance of the country. That is where we've lost it.
And in the interest of time, and I know you're a busy man, Dr. Radebe, there's places where you're still going. I want to ask you two questions, and just give them to you, and you'll see how you respond to them. The first one, I want to congratulate you. For the awards that you received in Italy, right?
Italy,
correct. This month. And being Africa Month, we are celebrating as Africans, we are celebrating Africa Month. But is Africa worth celebrating? Is there anything else to celebrate in Africa currently? And the second one is you have initiatives as an Imboni and as a leader and the founder of Revelation Spiritual Home that you have started to uplift Africans and African communities in as far as economy is concerned. I'd like you also to touch base on those particular aspects where you let us know what you are busy with, those initiatives, and how can people be part of them. And how has you being the advocate of African spirituality actually conscientized you to say, you know what, we can do it our own way? Well, the last one that I didn't mention, I want to understand, why is Europe suddenly so interested in African spirituality?
Yeah, yes, I did receive a global award in the side of African spirituality. And I think, let me put that together with you, why Europe is interested.
Yes.
Because I have a research institution. So we work with scholars in Europe. And religion has lost a lot of traction in Europe. It's a fact. I'm well traveled, for those who think I'm speculating. And it's from a research and scholars. So unfortunately, you know, your white people still remain more on your critical thinking part.
Yes.
We Africans, we have lost it. There are always people of the future. Europeans are people of the future. They think ahead. Now that religion kinds of lose traction, they then think, what's the next thing? Because humans are spirit. We always want something that has to do with spirit. And they've been doing a lot of research, and they can see that African spirituality is being revived. And they see African spirituality is authentic and it's the real thing. Hence now you see there's this interest to say, we want to tap into this. And let me tell you, Africans must be very careful.
Absolutely.
That as minerals were taken and we buy them, they must be careful that tomorrow Europe does not take spirituality, leave them with religion. Because as it stands, Africans are religious. Those who brought it are no longer there.
Because I know when Europeans see a concept and they want to tap into it, the aim is to take it, own it, and then misinform. So Africans should also be careful to not lose the critical information while celebrating the fact that we like the fact that Dr. Radebe is being celebrated out there. But we should be careful that the books are not rewritten. What he's saying is not rewritten to fit the narrative. As well.
I need to come in there now. That's where I'm not just a spiritual guide, but I also have my research. And I've presented papers, by the way, in top European scholars. We have presented papers about the authenticity of African indigenous spirituality. And we are working with them. So chances of that with us is not going to happen.
Absolutely.
In fact, our papers are now going to be spread within university and everywhere in Europe, where the real story about African spirituality is. So I'm contributing a lot on that side of scholarly papers.
Let's touch on the economy part and your role and your duties and what you are doing, the initiatives.
Yeah, economy is important. We need to eat. We can't eat spirit. So I have a company that has, I think, 20-odd companies, whatever the case. So whatever I do is not only for myself. I've begun a model called the distributor models. Everyone will listen and say, but we know distributor models. Ours is unique. We manufacture. I'm bringing back manufacturing, which we have lost in South Africa. We manufacture. After we do, we don't sell at a high price to distributors and they put markup. No. We sell a very, very low price so that they can have high a profit. Borrowed 100 Rand. She brought stock, she went to sell, and then today, to cut the long story short, she is monthly. She buys a stock at 100,000 Rands. And we have many, many good ones. So that's how I began to uplift Africans in the economic space.
And just we are about to wrap up, and in fact we could speak with you the whole day. And Doctor, we wish to have you again, for probably have you for 3 hours if we are able to, because indeed this conversation is a conversation that Africans need to have. The last one, you have a book that you have written, what is it called, and just summarize a little bit, and then so that our viewers out there can be able to go and find it if it can be found on digital, or they can find hard copy, so that they also get to learn more, because we're giving them a summary of what you are doing, but we need them also to know in broader context what you are talking about and what you are teaching.
Yeah. The book title is Introduction to African Indigenous Spirituality. Yes. I did introduction because I felt that even people don't even know, when you say African Indigenous Spirit, they don't know what you're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah, so that book, it's baby steps.
So you're walking them with a hand into understanding what you are talking about when you're talking about indigenous
African indigenous spirituality. Yeah, and the difference between that and religion, etc., etc., the hierarchies and all.
Yes.
So the book, it's written under my research institution because it's my revelations, and then it's part together with research.
Yes.
So we launched that book in December. It's #1 bestseller at exclusive stores. The first editions were not so good. We had to change it a little bit, but now it's back again.
Okay.
All exclusive stores countrywide are crying for it. So you can find it there, and it's going to be there digitally very soon.
Yes.
We are finalizing. It's going to be there. And by the way, there are even religious people who love the book, who love the knowledge, because they understand the purpose. It's not to fight anybody, but it's to tell our truth.
Yes. I'm not going to say, but the word that is being used is the prophet.
Yeah.
Where do you see Africa in the next 10 years as an Imboni?
No, for 10 years, no. It's too soon.
It's too soon.
It's too soon. Because you can see that our politicians, you have others who are heavily influenced by religion.
Yes.
Who, during colonization, religion played a role. Others who are new, as even religion here with politicians is losing a bit of traction, but those who are coming in are more on the atheist side, but still under the ship of no, we are religious for the sake of votes. Yeah. But if you look at them, they are more on the atheist side.
Yes.
So if you look at even our politics are quickly, it's what I term now, our politicians now are becoming the new God, are becoming the new religion. Look at how politicians position themselves, that people are losing hope in anything else.
But rely on them.
They are relying now on politics, forgetting that we can get money, land, and economy tomorrow. What's going to happen after that if we are spiritually bankrupt? So the next 10 years is too soon, my brother. There's not really that much that we are going to experience in the next 10 years. We really have to stretch it a little bit so that we can look at this young generation with yourselves, your platforms, and conscientizing Africans. Because the truth of the matter is we are in Africa. We are diverse, but we are in Africa. What must come first?
Yes. Okay, open border. Your opinion on that?
People make it as if you need a rocket scientist. Others are for, others are for not. It's not. It's an easy issue.
Yes.
Africa must become one. Africa must have one currency.
Yes.
That it's a fact.
It's a fact.
You like it or not.
Yes.
And it should have been done by now. Currently, can we open borders? The answer is no. Because everybody else must get their house in order.
Yes.
If they don't, what's going to happen? South Africa will not have resources for everybody. So while we have other leaders in Africa, who I don't know if they are sleeping or what, we need to tighten things up.
Yes.
And what should be happening is African leaders, these politicians who always come for votes, need to get their house in order. If they get their house in order, obviously we have to open. I need to mention this. I travel a lot. I've been in Europe, I think now, in Italy for my award. I've been in Netherlands because I'm in the racing pigeon sport.
Yes.
Maybe one day we have to
talk about that. One day we'll talk about that also. It's very important. Yes.
You have a Shanghai visa.
Yes.
I went to Italy now, South Africa to France.
Yes.
When I enter France, my visa says Italy.
Yes.
They don't ask me issues. They just ask, are you coming here to France? No, I'm going to Italy, no problem. They stamp. Shanghai visa allows you to flow around in Europe.
Yes.
Where's our African visa?
That allows...
You see. So my point is that first, everybody gets their house in order. When their house is in order, Africa must unite. We can't say Africa cannot... How are you as an African, you are against African uniting?
How?
How is that? We have to unite. But we are not yet.
But we must be careful of the premature opening of borders that might destroy everything.
Definitely, like the premature issues in 1994, Rombe Nation and all.
Yes.
We did not deal with matters before. Even borders, you can't open a border today.
Yes.
To be a mess.
Dr. Uzwe Leswe Khatebe is the Imboni. He is here with us, and unfortunately, we have to conclude here our conversation. We're hoping that he will come back again, and we will have, in fact, more conversations. There's a whole lot of aspects that you touched, and I feel as though we must have each aspect, for its own podcast, one by one, and so that we can be able to stretch them and, give them a broader understanding and a broader perspective on what we are talking about. But thank you very much for honoring us with your presence and for answering the questions that we feel they needed to be answered. And for us as a Pan-African radio station, radio TV, we knew that you should be our first guest, and we truly, truly appreciate it. We appreciate that you took your time to come here in One Africa. The name of this podcast is Inside Africa. I am Mabofa Wara Maleka, and I'm with Dr. Uzwe Leswe Imboni Khatebe. I'm hoping I'm saying it right.
Yeah, no, it's right.
Thank you very much for coming into our show, and we will have another one next time. Thank you.
Thank you very much.